What's up, y'all? Hey, it's me, Brianca Jay, and you are tuned in for another episode of Book Talk. I'm Brianca Jay. I want to tell you. Before we get started today, go ahead and check out my website. It's www.briancajay.com. That's where I keep all the merch. That's where I keep access to my children's books that I write and illustrate myself and publish, and a lot of other cool things there. I've been blogging more, and so I have some blogs over there as well. So tons of stuff to check out to keep updated with me. More so, if you like this video, if you want to see more things like this, please like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel grow. It helps me kind of build a little stream of income. Lord knows we all need some money in this pandemic. Okay, help a girl out, help your girl out. All you gotta do is subscribe. Now, today we're gonna talk about Marxism, Marxism, criticism, and literature. And I want to talk about Marxism because it comes up a lot.
Hegemony.
Sorry, I had to make sure I said that right today. Hegemony. It's going to come up a lot when you're reading literature, and it's a lot of different works, even works that are coming up today that are steeped in Marxist principles. So I want to just give examples of a few that you may be familiar with. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm not prepared, but I really am. Heart of Darkness, Things Fall Apart can both be considered Marxism and modern literature. Dickens did a lot of Marxist works. I got Invisibility Blues here, The Last Resistance, Aesthetics and Politics, Aesthetic Theory, Literature and Revolution. So tons of stuff about just Marxist literature. But what you really need to know is, like, what is it? What's its principles? What is its leading ideas? And why has it continued to stay relevant through time? Like, what's making it continue to stay relevant? And what it is that differences in people's social and class history has always been a thing. It hasn't changed. And as we consistently focus on the differences in each classes, we think about the powers that be, the man, the raging against the machine, right? And when you see this in literature, you can typically apply a Marxist perspective towards it, because that's exactly what it is. So it focuses on economic and other disparities that have been more visibly polarized, like wealthy and poor classes, city residents and ghetto dwellers, inhabitants of the first and third worlds, whites and peoples of color, and men and women. So anytime you see these type of binaries exist, you can think about Marxist principles and Marxist ideas. Now, many of the current concepts, terms, and issues related to social class derive from Marxist criticism. It has a diverse, influential source of literary and cultural theory that stems from the work of the 19th century German philosopher and economist Karl Marx. It was all his ideas, so we named it Marxism. Simple, cut, and dry. And he talks about modes of production, right? And he says there are 7 historical modes of production. You get tribal hordes, Neolithic kinship societies, Oriental despotism, ancient slave-holding societies, feudalism, capitalism, and finally communism. And Karl Marx believes that eventually international labor will win and the communist mode of production will emerge triumphant, leading to a society free of rampant inequality, exploitation, and class struggle. So that was Karl Marx's view of a world in our future, right? And it kind of showed a little Bernie Sanders-ish. Okay, so some other things that come about is our time has been characterized mainly by the conflict between the industrial working class, meaning like the proletariat or the labor, or me, probably you, probably most of us, and the owners and manipulators of the means of production, meaning corporation owners, And you know how they hate on Jeff Bezos all the time. It's like the Mark Zuckerbergs, like the 1%, right? The 1% who seems to have a strong hold on everything that goes on. And so because of this, we have these ideas about cultural spheres. They think, so his idea is that the 1% is controlling everything. It's controlling everything. And that's not a big new idea. We think that sometimes too, right? So he's like the socioeconomic base of society, right? The major 1% control the base of society. And then you have like politics, law, religion, philosophy, and arts. And that composes its superstructure. So the foundation is the 1%, and then they build up around it with things that reach us like art and music and certain things of that nature. I hope y'all still with me. Azul, are you with me? Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the ideology consists of the ideas, beliefs, forms, and values of the ruling class that circulate through all the cultural spheres. And then you have these members of the working class who subscribe to these bourgeois ideas and values and exhibit a false consciousness. So, an example of that is when you hear another black person be like, we don't need reparations, the government can't afford that. And you be like, girl, ain't nobody asked you for that type of negativity, okay? All right? When people try to argue, they try to argue on the side of politics or conservative politics. Maybe be like, we can't afford to get a stimulus check. Everybody doesn't deserve it. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You need one too, in fact. Okay? Okay? Don't let these rich people fool you into trickle-down economics. It don't work. Period. Okay, so yeah. So when people decide to go against their own needs to perpetuate an idea that's being streamlined through society, that's what you got. These fake woke people. Now, by doing so, they can manage instability and conflict, as well as impose and maintain social order, working for the most part outside of official state power. So they use our music, our arts, our politics, and our religion to help control the narrative and help to kind of streamline our views and our ideas. Because if I'm telling you what to think, then you don't have to worry about thinking about it yourself. And as we can see, thinking can sometimes be a burden to the world around us. People don't want to think no more. They just want to know what is going on. So because of this, culture and the arts, in the Marxist view, are neither innocent entertainment nor independent of social forces. They work to make up the hegemonic order. And I hope I said it right. I keep looking up the word to say it right. And I've been messing up this word for many, many, many years. I'm going to have Google repeat it for me again.
Hegemony.
Hegemony. Hegemony. Hegemony. Okay. So, the hegemonic order. Hegemonic order. Okay, so anyway, when it comes down to arts and literature, what's going to happen is a text often contains mixed and contradictory messages that reflect its broad social milieu rather than its author's personal philosophy. And when I think about that, I think about our guy, Native Son. So you have Native Son, Bigger Thomas, and he is trying to fight the powers that be, but he also has a few times where he's reckoning with the fact that society is controlling him and it's not fair, and he's not getting the opportunity to choose individual choice, right? Free will. And so there you see how a text can have these conflicting messages, and it's difficult to determine what is right and what is wrong. Now, there are three other words that come up, and when you're reading Marxist literature and you're thinking about Marxist principles, you're going to think about commodities, commodity fetishism, and commodification. So, a commodity is simply a good or service produced for monetary exchange. So if I was a carpenter and I built a table and I built it for the purpose of selling that table, it is a commodity because it has no personal use to me. I built it to make money. The fetishism of a commodity is when we go into the dealership and we looking at all the Benzes and we like, oh my God, I'm finna buy a Benz. I'm finna buy a Benz. But we don't think about, man, there is a lot of people across the globe who created this Benz, who don't have living wages, who don't have access to healthcare, who don't have workers' rights, who don't have a place to live. So that's commodity fetishism. We focus solely on the object and not the people and things and ideas that it took to create the object. The last one is commodification. This names the whole accelerating phenomenon of producing goods and services not for their use value but their exchange value, a phenomenon that threatens to overtake every sphere in our life and our time. Capitalism, baby. Capitalism. So Marxist critics complain that commodification promotes a tendency to view people and human relations as things or objects with price tags. City girls. Yes, talking about that type of shit. With this pussy talk dollars, euros, and yen, it talks Marxism. It talks commodification. It talks commodity fetishism and taking out the human value and replacing it with a monetary exchange. Okay, that's what that pussy talking. Transactional values. Argue with your mama, not me. Argue with your mama. I don't make the rules. It's in the book. Okay, so then the argument becomes, even when artists or writers or whatever decide to like push up against the powers that be, what happens is they become absorbed in those powers. So even outrageous vanguard radical movements such as surrealism, punk rock, gangster rap have some way become profitable commodities, although it was made to be in opposition to hegemony. And it makes us wonder, is it possible to overcome the powers of capitalism and commodity fetishism if they can always absorb and pay off the people who are trying to like shake up the status quo? Is it possible to ever change the powers that be? So that's Marxism criticism in a nutshell. Marxist criticism and cultural studies aim their critical inquiries at the system and its dynamics. So when you're reading, think about the systems and the powers at work and how it is affecting the characters and the people who are operating within the system. Some great books to look at when studying this, of course, is Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. Pretty much anything by Charles Dickens, because he is a social critic. You can also look at things by, even though I can't stand him, Richard Wright, who also consistently talks about society and the nature of things and the powers that be. James Baldwin as well can offer you a lot of ideas related to Marxist theory and criticism. I hope this helped you with your homework, with your ideas, with your paper. Get it out, get it cracking. I'm gonna catch y'all next time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you like my braids, woody woo. And I'm sorry. I'm gonna go home now. Well, I'm at home. I'm gonna let you go back to whatever you was doing before you clicked in this video. You have a good day, alright? See y'all next time.
My name is Levi. My nanny read a book about me. Buy the book. Please.
You
buy my nanny book, I will punch your face.